Okay, so thank you guys so much for making time for us to go through this today. In our previous lessons, we did something on HTML, CSS, and we converted it to, Bootstrap. We did part of this together, but we didn't do all of it together. I know. So I have the code on my GitHub, so you can just tune into the GitHub. And then clone this particular repository and use it however you want it. It is public. Okay. Also, if you visit GitHub and then you clone it, please click on the star so that people may also find it interesting when they see more stars to clone it and see what is going on so they can benefit from it. Once this call is done, I would upload it to YouTube so you have a place to go and watch it. We already have the rules and regulations for the session. So what today we are actually going to do is to turn all this into React components. Okay. Now, when we talk about React components, I want you to visualize it this way. I think Twitter is good to show the power of React. So I'll just visit Twitter, and you can see that I have my React plugin plugged up. So you can see React is active on this website. So that is why at the little top corner, you can see React Developer Tools has access to this site. So many people are actually, jumping on React because of the component. The component because it makes it feel very natural. Say you want to display this set of images. Okay, what are we trying to do? What are we trying to do here? Isn't it that we are trying to display all the products that we are doing as maybe a company? Because Surface Go is like a laptop. So these are products. So what if we had an HTML tag called Surface Go? And be able to customize how we want it to be. So that when you see it, readability is very clear, and then it would also encourage reusability. So we will see this in action. Similarly here, what are we trying to do here? Maybe these are lists of activities, right? We do podcasts, we do sessions, we do newsletters. So we call this activities. And activity has an image, has what title, and has body, right? So we think about all this as various components that is empowering our web application. But even far from that, this top part is just a navbar component. This session can be part of it. Assuming we have like about us page, which is also similar to this, but it has different things, then we'll be able to customize it more. But without further talks, let's see exactly what how Twitter has leverage on using React on this particular site. So I'll click on developer tools, and you can see because I've installed React developer tool here, I have the components here. Okay, so it will show me all the components. Look at the component that they built. They build the view component, the context consumer. They build a lot of other components and components that are falling like children of each other, right? And I'm seeing something here in their console. It seems something is red. So you can see unsafe attempt to load mobile Twitter for frame. So if you are also trying to, you are building your site and you see red, please, even Twitter has red on their console, so it should be normal. All right, so that's just a little bit of introduction. Let's step into the game, see what exactly we can do to get React running on our application. Already, I and all of you know that when you are, when you want to use, what's the name? I think I need to hide this guy. Okay, already when you want to use React, you have to make sure you have npm installed. Once you have npm installed, let me scroll down here. I do not like how this always pops up easily. Okay. But here I can just type reactjs.org. So reactjs.org is your friend if you actually want to build React application, because they have beautiful documentation here. Just click on the docs, and then you will have their access to their documentation. If you want installation, you can just type installation here, and it would give you the access to how to install React on your machine. If you want to create a new application, you can do that here as well. So I'll just click on create React application. Okay, so assuming you are done installing npm and then you are also done installing React, you can simply say nps create React app, this command, okay, and then the name of your app to get it up and running. So what are we trying to build in the first place? So let me just go to my desktop and I'll go into a folder here. Sorry, I'm showing you things I'm building behind the scenes here. I think that's fine now. Okay, so imagine that this CodeMon folder, I could just do something. For example, I could build another project in here. I think I should probably do it on a folder, an empty folder. So I'll just do that. So let's call this Northern Lab. So this is just a folder, a temporary folder. I want to put everything that I'm about to build inside this particular folder. I'll pull up my Git bash. So you need to also make sure you have maybe Git installed. So, and I'll navigate into my desktop. And on desktop, we just, named something called Northern Innovation Lab. And you realize there was there was a space between Northern and Lab, so I'll put it in quotes, and then I'll bring the lab. Okay, so this puts me into Northern Innovation Lab folder. I can just run the command npx create React app, and then I'll give it a name. So what are we trying to build here? Is it not Microsoft clone? So ms clone React. Maybe I just call it that way. Okay, and I'll hit on enter, and it will just take some few, I will not say few, but it will take some minutes, and then it will create a new React project for us. So once it is done, we just need to do cd into the project that we've created, and then we do npm, I think it's npm run, right? To run our first React project. So it is to create a React project, and I hope you can all do it on your own after this session. Okay, so it's still going to take some few seconds, but once it is done, we'll be able to go into it. All right, so let me see. What do we sorry about the slow network, but in some more seconds everything will be created for us. Okay, so while things are actually installing for us, let me just take the opportunity maybe to run you through some of the things that you would get. Just a second. Okay. All right, so it's still loading, I guess. Let's check in here. All right, it's still trying to download React for us. Okay, so once it is done, we will cd into that particular application we created, and we will run this command npm start. Okay, so that's our React project for us. Okay, so once it is started, what you truly might see is just a project tree with a lot of folders. I do not want to confuse you when you are watching this video, so I think I'll just stay mute and then allow the project to pull in all the resources. Then we run it together. Okay, but ultimately you can actually use React to build mobile applications as well, not just web applications. So once you understand the React component syntax, you'll be good to to go on how exactly you can build your own stuff. Okay, so just a second, some seconds more. I think this guy is taking much time. Okay, you see here, it has created the project folder for us, but it's still trying to install everything. So let's give it some small time in addition. And I hope my internet hasn't finished. You're able to hear me. Let me just say hello again here. Okay, that's cool. So please, whilst you are waiting. If you have any question, just put it in the chats. I'll pick it up and then see what exactly you're trying to ask me. Okay, so this is taking more than forever. Okay, so let's just be patient. I think we will get there soon. All right, whilst that is also loading, let me go to my desktop and try to view the application that we are trying to convert into React for you. So I'll go to CodeMon. I think I have it there. I think I have it in code. So I'll go into code, and under code, there is a folder. I call it NIL, Node Innovation Lab. Okay, and you can see we have MS Clone. Let me open it. So this MS Clone is already pushed to GitHub. That's why you can see the hidden file here. And it has images, okay? So we need to put this image somewhere that we can access it on the website, okay? And apart from that, it also has like one page, just an index page. Do you get the idea? Let me try open this for you to see. Let's try to go over this in terms of code. So you will see what exactly, let's open it in Visual Studio Code. Okay. I think I can close this guy. No, okay. All right, so this is how empty the project looks like, and it's powering everything. So let me open it. So you can see we have a head, and we have Bootstrap CDN right in here. That is why we don't have any, Bootstrap files here, okay? And also we have some CSS written in here, okay? So that means all these things we need to find a way of migrating it into our React application, which is currently being created for us. Let me see. Oh, looks like we are good. So let me just continue here small. And when we open this, we have a navbar. Okay, so this entire session is just a navbar that is displaying at the top of our page. And then we have a section that is saying welcome to MS Inspire and all those stuff. And we have another section, okay, that is having all the images displayed, like the Surface Go and those stuff. And the last thing is that we also have another section, and this section is the one displaying all the activities that we do. So I'm just going to change this title from meet with our team to our activities. So it looks more descriptive. Okay. So when we view this in our page, here, that is ultimately translating into this web project that you are seeing here. So let's see how we can convert everything into React. That's the simple thing that we want to do. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go back to this project, and I'll cd into the project that we created. What is the name that we gave it? Let me scroll up. I think we gave it MS Clone React. Okay, so I'll cd, navigate into MS Clone React. Okay, so that brings me into the Microsoft Clone React project. Let me open it in Visual Studio Code for you to see. Oh, sorry, did I type? So I will just type code, and that's. So it will open the React project. This is how the React project looks like. So we have our public folder, we have our SRC folder, and then we have our package.json files. And in our package.json, like I mentioned to you, when we do npm start, it will trigger this particular script, they call it, and it will power our React application. When we are done and we want to push our code to production, we'll do React script, npm, I think it's run build or something, then it will just build a project app for us. Okay, and you can see the dependency that we've installed so far are only these ones. React DOM, which will help us to render the codes that we will write into our browser, and React is basically the React helping us to do all the component stuff. All right, so at this point, let's just go straight into how we can, copy all the files that we have into this particular project, okay? So what I'm going to do right now is to open this MS clone, you see I have image here, right? So I'm going to copy this image and I'm going to go into the project that we are building. We call it the Noding Innovation Lab, the MS Clone project, okay? And you can see we have a public folder here. So, and we have images. Can you see that? I can paste all the images here, but I can also try to just paste my image right in here, okay? So I'm converting the project that I showed you into, this project, okay? One thing I'm going to do as well is to go back to there, and the index file, I'll just copy it for now, and I'll head back to our project and I'll paste the index file in here. I will not say it should replace the file existing. I think I need to go just rename it, okay? I'll just try to rename that particular file first. So let me paste it here, and I'll right click on it and I'll click on rename. So I'll give it a name, index, maybe main, okay? I'll then cut this from here and I'll paste it inside the public. Do not worry the fact that it's going here. Don't worry at all. Now, the good thing I should have just done for you is to run npm run, okay? And it will run this specific project. So right now, I'll press Ctrl tilde and I'll type npm run. Once you install React project, you don't need to, copy all the files and paste it like I did. You just run npm run, and then it will script included what and npm. Are we missing something? I want to be able to know. Just a second. Let me see. What are we doing? I think MS clone. Let me check. What am I missing right now? So I want to run npm start. Oh, did I say npm run? Okay, so npm start. You can see all the guides are here. Click on enter. It will just, run this project for me. Okay. So you see it in the browser. This is your very first React application that you built. Okay. So it comes in with a custom page like this, but you can customize it however you want it to be. Okay. So let's go and customize this a bit more to look like what we want it to be. Okay. Do not worry. We can, clean everything and redo everything again. So I'm going to do that with you. So what happens is that if you go into this public folder, we have a file called index.html. Okay. Allow, bro. So in this index.html, we have the body and then we have a div. So this div is saying that it has an ID of root. So we are going to use JavaScript to say that, hey, document, go into this particular file and then find the root of this particular, find the elements with the ID roots and then change the content to what we are putting in there. So it's just your normal JavaScript that you've been writing. We'll just write that here. So let's change the title here to our project. What's the name of our project? MS Clone, right? Yeah. And yeah, I think that is it. And maybe I can call it NIL. All right, I'll save my work. This means that when I go back to my browser, you know what? I need to close some of my tabs so that everything will be on one tab. I don't have to be switching in between. Okay, so I'll come in here and you can see that the title has changed to MS Clone NIL, right? Which means that I can even, if I don't need any of their boilerplate that they included, I can just go and then clear it off. But the point is, where is this particular logo and then this text coming from, all right? So let me show you where that is coming from. I think at this point, I can also close this particular application. This was the one we are cloning from, but we have all the files in here. So we just work straight from here. So where is this particular image and things coming from at all? So let me show you. I'll close this public folder. Okay, the image is basically this React image. Okay, let me show you. I think it's yeah, you can see React image here. right? So that's the image that we are seeing, okay? Now, the second thing I need to also show you is that there's a favicon. This is a small React logo, and that is what is coming at the top here. So we can change that as well. And let me now close the public folder and open the SRC for you. You can see we have app.js. Okay, so in this app.js, this is where all the things are coming from. Now let me show you this. Let's say and save reload and okay. See, right now you can see it says to reload. When I press on Control S to save, it will build it up again and then it will show it in the browser. So you see to reload and reload. So this is where, you know, all those things are coming from. But the scary thing is that if we delete this, how do we get it to, you know, to work again? So that's what that is exactly what I'm going to do with you, is to just clear all this off. Okay, maybe I won't even clear everything, but I can just clear this from header to header, and I'll press on Control S, and I'll come back here, and you see that it has compiled and run. Now we have nothing, like absolutely nothing. Okay, so even if we type just a paragraph, a normal paragraph here, let me say P and close my P and say U. Okay, I'll save this work, come back to this, and you can see U is displaying here, right? So you can, I mean, customize it however you want. It's entirely up to you. Okay, and I can see that there is some CSS happening. All right, and you can see we have app.css. Okay, and we have also the logo was also imported here as logo. All right, so for now, let me show you what we can do to get this to work. So we can check the app.css. You see all the CSS have been written for us. So that is where the app.css is coming from. If we do not want, let me just comment it out entirely. Okay, we can comment this out entirely, come back here, and then now display our hi again. I mean, maybe H1 and say welcome. Save our work, go back to our page. You see the welcome is no longer in the center because we don't have CSS operating over here. Okay, now that you understand the basic structure, what is getting what to work, let's see how exactly we can start to write our own stuff. Like when they talk about component, what does it mean? Okay, so imagine that we already have the site I showed you, and this site is just a Microsoft clone website. Okay, we want to convert this into a React application. Okay, what do we need to do first? Let me show you. You remember I copied the file and pasted it here. This is the file that is, you know, displaying the Microsoft clone. First of all, it has some CSS. I'm going to copy those CSS. Okay, and I'm going to go back to this index.html because you remember I just told you that that is what is getting all the things to work, right? So I can come here and I'll declare a new style, maybe just a style, and I'll paste in the code over here. Okay, for indentation purpose, let me start from here. All right, so I'll save my work and then move this guy back. Okay, and you see, basically, our React application is still working. We've not done any changes. I mean, we've added CSS, but it is not going to impact our work for now. Now, the second thing we need to do again is that I can see here I have a link. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this link, and I'm going to paste it inside index.html. I'll paste the link maybe somewhere inside the head, right? You know that's where your links go. And I'll save this work. Okay, so right now we have Bootstrap on our application, but yet again, we are not doing anything with it. Okay, we are not doing anything now with it. Let's just test to see whether Bootstrap would work on our application or not. So to do that, we don't need to write any code in here. We just need to come to our inside our SRC, that is our source code, the app.js, and maybe I can add a button. Okay, I will just add a button here. Okay. Oh, I have a meeting. I did not really check the meeting up. Sorry. So I'll add the button and see. You know what? I can, when you are doing React, you can't call it class. So even if you want to add a class, you call it class name. The reason you'll see it shortly. So let's say you know the Bootstrap class BTN and BTN success, right? Okay, and we say maybe register or sign up. It's up to you. Let's go back to our page and see. You see, it is showing, CSS classes, which means Bootstrap is working on our content right now. So that is actually a great thing. Okay, that's a great thing. I'll save my work once again, and now we know we've imported Bootstrap successfully and things are working. Let's look at the next step. What should we do? When we come here, so we have first of all, we have the CSS, and secondly, just a second, let me plug my laptop before it dies. Okay, first of all, we have CSS, okay, and secondly, we have the link. We've imported it. Okay, now let's go and see what do we need to do next. I think we have a navbar here, okay, but like I told you, you don't need to write any of this inside the index.html. This is just a template that every component that you are writing is supposed to render in here. So I can go into the app.js and I will paste in the code I have over there. Okay, I can even clean this away. I mean, maybe I don't need it at all. I can clean it and I'll paste what I have here. Okay, I can see that quickly things are red and red and red all over the place. Okay, which means I need to make some changes. Okay, but let's see whether things are still loading. Okay, I think things are still loading. So it's not red, it's yellow, it's just warning. So things are still loading. Let's see. Okay, you can see that our thing is still, things are still working like the way they are supposed to work. So we are converting this application into a React application right away. All right. Okay, now that we have that at the top, do you think it's good we cut all this content and just paste it in there to see whether it will work or not? So let me do that with you. I think I have a footer. This script, I'll leave it for now, but I'll copy it so I have the footer and paste that footer right after the nav. Okay, I'll paste it here, Control S, and come back, and you can see now things are crying. It says app.js syntax adjacent JSX elements must be wrapped in an enclosing tag. Did you want a JS fragment? So there's like a section that is open but is not closed. And until that section is closed, React is not going to allow us to render it. And you can see it says on line number 43. So why don't we take our time, copy the things one after the other to make sure they are working. So first of all, let's create our first React component. Imagine this navigation bar. We want to make it a React component. Do you know what we have to do? We just need to cut this code. Instead of pasting everything here, I'll cut the code, and mostly React will tell you that have a parent div. It is expecting that at least there's a div before every other thing would come. So I'll create just one div, and it will clear that particular error for me. Okay, so usually you couldn't have been able to write JavaScript and HTML all together in one file. So there is behind the scene something called JSX that is helping us to run our code without, all the HTML and CSS within just one set of file. Okay, so quickly let's just create a new file here. I'm just going to create this file. Yeah, go ahead with your question. Is there a question? If it's not a question, please just mute yourself so that I can continue. Okay, so let's just say that even this navbar, I want to create a folder called components. Okay, and it will just be called components so that I'll store all my components in there. And first file I'm going to create is called navbar. Okay, .js. All right. Please look at what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything special here. I'll just paste the navbar. Oh, sorry. That's very wrong. You can't do that. So what you need to do is to import React into this application. So this is where we would begin to utilize React. So you say import React from React, because React was installed on this project, right? And if you need to render something, then you have to import, React DOM. So I'll save this work and quickly I'll create a class. Okay. So your components are supposed to be in what they call JavaScript classes. It just helps you to write more functions and then, more reusable code. It's called object-oriented. So I'll call this class. The class must begin with a capital letter. The class name should begin with what? A capital letter, please. And we would extend what is called, we want to, create a React component, right? So we'll extend the React and we'll say React.what components. All right. So with this in mind, we can save our work and then we can paste in the code that we have. But once again, you can't do that. You need to create another function called render. So this render function would help us, like whenever our code is run for the first time, it would, be what is like triggered. Okay. So whatever you want to render to the DOM, you need to put it here. So apparently this is crying because it needs you to say that you have a return statement. So you say return, and then whatever you are returning should be in here. And you can see there's a red line again. It is expecting that, hey, bro, you need to pass something into me. Okay. So I'll put all the codes that we had over there, and I'll save my work. Okay. You can reach components created like that. Just how can we inform our app.js, this app.js, that we have a component and we want that component to be the first component in case and all those stuff. So we say import, okay, and we can say import maybe, what are we importing? Navbar, right? So we can say import Navbar from. Now you can do to specify the path towards the component / component and navbar. Okay, so you can see the navbar is what I'm importing into my application. It's good, but you would have, some sort of error. At this point, we have a navbar component, and you know that, okay, this is how you add components. Okay, you can see the navbar does not contain default export. So there's something, you need to export this particular file, component that you created. How you do it is you say export, 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 then you use what they call the default class. So with this in mind, it would export whatever, this entire thing to whatever file that requires it, to render. So we have now a very nice and beautiful component here. Let's go back to our file and you see that everything is okay. It helps developers to see. I think my internet is crying. Are you able to hear me? Please unmute yourself and tell me. I
said it's breaking.
Okay, you can put it in the chat. Okay, it's breaking. All right, let me turn off my camera for the time being. Thank you for letting me. Okay, so now you can still see my screen, and you see here we have a component. Now the first component we've created is called what? Navbar. So that is the React component that we just created. This is for how breaking the things into smaller pieces and having to render them like, that makes sense. Because if you open this particular application, the source code, and then you see Navbar, you know exactly what it means. So we are making it more natural to be able to call our codes that we've written to. It will make sense to us in the future, and everyone else will take it. You want? Come again.
You need to check your internet connection. I can hardly hear you. Keeps
I need to check my internet connection. So let's see. Okay, please, just a second. Like you said, I need to check my internet connection. Let me see what is happening. Is it okay now?
Yeah,
Is
it
it
sounds
fine?
better.
I pray that it guides
Let's
us
leave.
through. Yeah. Please say amen.
I mean,
Uh-huh. Okay, so please prompt me anytime it's not going well, all right?